Hey guys, my name's David Spade, and I feel somewhat sick about being just more like bad tummy about being Conan's friend.
You know, I think I've always had that effect on you.
No, maybe I'll change it to honored.
Too late.
Okay,
I like what you had.
Okay.
Okay, hit it.
Friendship is a good thing.
Quiet.
God. It's a miserable life. It's a miserable life.
The whole rhythm of friendship is a good thing. Quiet.
Oh, God.
It's so insane. Okay, here we go. Hey there. Welcome to Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, joined by Sona Movsesian.
Hi.
And Matt Gorley. And I had something kind of sweet and uplifting to talk about.
Oh.
My wife noticed this.
Suspicious.
I know, even I'm suspicious. But of course, the wildfires occurred. And Sona, you lost your home. It was terrible.
Oh, my God.
What? What's the matter?
I just went, she gone.
She gone.
Like a
That was
70s
so
yacht rock
callous.
song.
I know.
Well, but
It's devastating.
you're processing it, but it was
Yes.
devastating, and
Yes.
we've talked about it here. And the fire came right as I've said to people. We were crazily lucky. The fire came to the back of our yard, to the edge of our yard, and stopped and burned some stuff on the edge of our property. So there's and there was smoke damage, but we were overwhelmingly crazily lucky, and I'm back living in the house now. Liza noticed that we had these fruit trees, this little small area of fruit trees in the backyard, and all of them burned and are like charred and had to be cut down and taken away, except one.
Yeah.
The pomegranate tree that your parents gifted me
Yeah.
and Liza back when...
You guys hosted our engagement party
That's right.
with just 200 of our closest friends and family.
Yeah.
No joke.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah, we had a big party in the backyard
Yeah.
for your and Tax engagement, and a bunch of... obviously your friends and your family came, and I didn't think I was getting a gift because that wasn't the point of it, but your parents brought
Yeah.
this pomegranate tree, and we planted it along with all the other trees, and it kind of doesn't make sense because all the other trees burned, and there's not a really good reason why this tree didn't burn.
Yes, there is.
Which is, say.
Well, pomegranates represent prosperity.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously.
And it's part of,
It's the Armenian voodoo that my mom put into the tree. It protected your house. That's why it's fine. You're welcome.
did you have a pomegranate tree in did your parents give you one for your house?
I had that question as well.
I did.
Right.
The tree survived.
So she...
Oh, wait a minute. Okay. But wait, did your pomegranate tree survive?
It did survive,
But
actually.
it didn't save the house.
No, it didn't serve
Maybe it
its
just didn't
purpose.
know which house
There.
it was supposed to be guarding.
It did protect the yoga studio that my neighbors built
See, the
next
tree,
door.
the
That's
tree,
the closest structure to it.
you probably faced the tree wrong, and it probably misunderstood, like a well-intentioned dog. Don't worry, I saved the yoga studio, you idiot!
Oh my
But wait,
God.
I have to say, because I've traveled to Armenia with you,
Yeah.
pomegranates and the pomegranate tree, it's like it is a very important part of Armenian culture.
Yeah, it's got a lot of symbolism to it. It's a very important fruit in our culture. And I think that, and also it didn't just survive. It's green and
Yes.
lush.
Yes, ours is in bloom.
Yeah.
It's spectacular looking, as if nothing happened, surrounded by stumps.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very cool.
You now have to believe in the Armenian. I know we've talked about the witchcraft my mom does and the things that she believes in. You have to admit that there's some truth, something.
I don't think I was a big denier of the power.
Yes, you were.
What do you mean?
When my mom buried a baby doll
Jesus
in the
Christ.
front
You
yard.
just said buried a baby.
Yeah, but
It's
when
like,
she
oh my God.
buried a doll in the front yard, you laughed about it.
But wait, what was that for? I can't remember.
For me to have babies. And guess what? It worked.
Yeah.
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 Through science.
Now you had
Sure, my fertility doctors
Yeah.
may have had
Yeah.
something
You
to
had-
do with
Modern
it.
science.
you had twins. Did she bury one baby or two babies?
She buried one, but it's not like
Was it a realistic plastic baby doll, or was it like a Ken doll, or was it
no, it was like this doll I actually had when I was a kid, and it's gender neutral too. It doesn't have any genitalia.
That's weird. The baby doll didn't have a big swinging dick.
when shopping for baby dolls? I like one with a big cock.
However, did she find one like that? Wow, that's a real.
Those
real
are hard
find.
to find these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
Your logic today, Sona. I don't know.
This doll poops, it wets, it cries, and it becomes massively erect.
And it stars in its own 8th series,
Yeah.
Skinamax After Dark.
Oh, come on.
Well,
All I'm
yeah, all you're saying.
It's got a little weird mustache. 70s mustache.
No, it's gender neutral. So it didn't look like a girl. It doesn't look like a boy. She buried it, and then I got pregnant.
Right.
With, yes, the help of
Yeah, but
fertility
listen,
doctors, but still.
I am not someone who I say if it's working for you, go with it. And
Yeah.
and I don't pretend to know the answers. I really don't.
Yeah.
And so I was very impressed, and I have been very impressed by Armenians and by your country. And I'm just like, you guys have this very strong spirit. And I think, yeah, I would give it up for any power that you guys have. And this tree
Yeah.
surviving, I have to say, it's a powerful thing to
It's cool.
see.
My parents, I sent them a picture of it because Liza sent me a picture of the
Yeah.
tree. And it's surrounded by just charred
Yeah.
stuff. And they were really touched and happy that it survived.
good.
They were
Good.
really, really happy. And my mom was not surprised, by the way.
Yeah.
She kind of knew
I
it
don't
would
mean to
survive.
ruin the moment. I'm just thinking of your mom burying a baby doll with a huge plastic dick.
And the dick is sticking out of the soil.
And then
She buried it 6 feet under, but still,
And then it
the
flowers.
dick is coming out, and then it flowers. And a pomegranate comes out the tip of the dick.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And
That is a
your mom
beautiful
just
thing.
turns to a camera and goes, "It's the power of Armenia." Well, anyway, we've ruined another episode of Conan
Before
O'Brien
it even started.
Needs a Friend. All right, my guest today is a hilarious comedian and a very old friend of mine. His latest stand-up special, David Spade, Dandelion, is available for streaming on Prime Video. I am thrilled he's here today. I really do love hanging with this guy. David Spade, welcome. This episode is brought to you by Square. Your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. Did you know Square can help you turn your small business idea into a huge success? Even that genius idea for moving with monkeys, the pop-up workout class taught by, yes, real monkeys. What? Just reading the copy here, people. Square isn't just a point of sale for local businesses anymore. What began as a little white card reader is now a behind-the-scenes powerhouse, helping you manage finances, schedule your team, and cover cash flow gaps when they come up. I have to say I love Square, and sometimes I've thought, why don't I just have one? It'd be cool.
No, why would you want to? Yes, that's a great idea. I forgot we were doing an ad for it.
Yeah.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Now you're playing the game. With Square,
Yeah.
you could keep things at moving with monkeys. They're really sticking with this idea. With Square, keep things at moving with monkeys running smoothly, even if one of your instructors won't stop flinging bananas at the clients.
Oh boy.
Go to square.com/go/Conan to learn more. That's SQUARE. Yeah, I spelled square.com/GO/Conan. Square. Meet you there. I've always believed that your home should be an expression of who you are. I have that like tattooed on my low back. I could have had so many things tattooed down there, and that's what I chose.
Down there.
Yeah. Anyway, whether you're redecorating a single space or furnishing your entire home, Ashley has styles that balance timeless appeal and modern trends to bring your personal look home. You don't want it to look like someone else decorated your home.
Yeah.
Ashley offers, good job, Sona. Ashley offers, don't know how I do it without you. Ashley offers well-crafted, affordable pieces built to stand up to real life, not phony pretend life. They offer fast, reliable white glove delivery right to your door.
Nice.
Ding dong, hello. Hey, what are you guys wearing white gloves for? We're here from Ashley. Whoa, you guys are wearing white gloves. That's right. We said white glove service. You sure did. You guys kept your promise. Visit your local Ashley store or head to ashley.com to find your style.
I think you should roll right when people walk in, because then you see the real, and then when I drop my bullshit act and I start being nice to everyone for the cameras.
I'm rolling
now.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Now,
The whole thing where you said bullshit and where you talk about how you hate Italians.
I said
Why
that.
do you hate Italians?
I said it on the stairs. It doesn't count. We were on our way in.
Thanks for being here.
Do you have like a beginning, or is this the beginning?
whenever you're ready.
I've seen the show a million times.
I'm clear. I love that when you walked in, you said, which one's Conan?
No, I know. I knew you were the tall one. Oh, this one with the hidden cameras.
Yeah, we have
Dana told me all about it.
Oh, you got the
He
backstage
told me what to
dirt on
look
Dana.
out for.
Well, I want to mention, first of all,
Yes.
you and Dana do a great podcast, Fly on the Wall.
Thank you.
You guys get all the backstage dirt on what's going on at SNL over the years. Plus, you talk to other people as well.
Yeah,
But
we sort of watered down. We sort of ran through.
you got through everybody.
Yeah.
You know, once you would talk to Jim Brewer 6 times, you knew it was, you had to move on to...
Gervitz is always like, you haven't scratched the surface. There's another 900 cast. And I go, yeah, but Bill Squankmeyer from 1988. At a certain point, we realized, I guess people do like stars. That's the sad part.
Mark Gervitz, by the way, if you don't know, he's been a manager at Burlstein for, I think, 75
70
years.
to 100 years.
70 to 100 years. He used to represent Al Jolson. It's a funny reference, Sony. You should look it up.
I know he's old.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Conan likes money. I guess you don't like money. So he tells me, you want to do a gig in Ottawa tomorrow? I go, tomorrow? Sorry, I'll call Dana. He likes money.
That's what Gervitz says to you? So he will give you shit about not taking a gig because he says that Dana will take the gig.
Yeah, and he just does it to make you feel bad.
Yeah.
Because they sit there in their office with their feet up and they get 10% of whatever. So it's better if you just say yes and they hang up the phone and go, oh, he's on 3 flights to Ottawa and I make money. So it's better if you say yes.
Yes. Oh, they like a yes.
Yeah.
They like a yes. And they don't care what you go through.
Not
It's
at
a
all.
pretty good gig. It's in Anchorage. You might like Anchorage.
Somebody hates Alaska. I don't hate a lot. I think it's far. It's okay. I'll break it to Alaska. They're your fans.
This is what it's like, having a manager.
Yeah.
But
I have to say, I've had the same guy since day one, when I got out here. I will tell you a quick story that, do we have an hour?
This is 6 hours.
Okay, this will fit in perfectly. This one story. It's exactly 58 minutes.
Right. It's about how you grew up until this moment.
No, this is a good manager story. So, and I know then we'll get into stuff.
And I will quickly say, Mark Gervitz, I've known him for a long time, and he's a mensch. He's a good fella.
Yeah. I think I've only told the story on 17 podcasts.
That's okay.
Have you ever heard people say this?
No one listens
I
to any other podcast.
I haven't told this anywhere.
Yeah.
And they ramp it up like I go, I don't want to see this clip because I know it's all set up like I want you to make it a clip. Like, I shouldn't tell this. But I'll tell this because it's boring. It'll fit right in.
Good.
So here's Spady. This is before you knew me, before we fell in love.
Yeah.
This is probably, I'm 22, moved out here doing stand-up from Arizona. Got my first movie, got $6,000. I cleared $6,000. Bought a car. Looked for 2 weeks, Conan. I didn't just grab the first one, like first Camaro, what you would think.
Mm-hmm.
Hot rod.
Yep.
I get a Honda Accord. I take the hit. I go, I just got to get one that starts every day. Buy it cash, drive it to the Improv, come out to show my friends, stolen. So stolen
really?
within not even an hour.
Wow.
And then it's so embarrassing. I'm like, here it is. And I'm showing him, I'm a little buzzed. I went in and did a shot and I go, maybe it's on Kilkea. Hold on. And then we're walking and I go, would it be on Beverly? Wait, let me check the 405 because I just couldn't believe, like, where is my car? Where did I park it?
You can't believe someone took it.
That didn't even cross my mind. I go, I just don't remember where I parked it. And then the cops go, oh, they probably sold it to you, kept the key, followed you and took it. And I go, so now what do? Spring into action? He goes, you'd think.
One would think.
Yeah. He goes,
I like these cops already. One would hope.
He goes, I'm already forgetting about this as I walk back to my car, but I'll say we're on the case. But anyway, nothing happened. So now I'm back to zero. I have to borrow money and stuff. Anyway, so I this is a police academy movie. This is how it started. So I got that movie, cleared that. And when I was there, I was so new, didn't know how to act. I wasn't the fine actor I am today.
You'd become quite the thespian.
Yeah. So I was there, and this Bobcat Goldthwait, who was helping me out, was like, hey, this director of mine is here, and he's doing a new show on Fox, which just started. This is how old I am. And I said, okay, that's what I always wanted, like a sitcom or something. He's like, it's a single camera where you're like a high school, like FBI. I was like, oh, how fun, you know? So I said, how cool. So Fox, new network, I don't give a fuck, you know? So great. So he goes, hey, do you mind reading this script, right? So he has sides. This is in Toronto during Police Academy. Did you fucking glue this on to make me look stupid?
Glue it on.
Decoupage. So anyway, I go, okay. So I just read this. So I just literally read it to him.
Yeah.
And he's like, great. Well, okay, you're not quite there. We'll work with it. I literally knew nothing about acting. Just read it to him like a story. And he goes, all right, but you got a little heat on you. This is what I didn't know. I had done stand-up at the Improv for about 6 months. Some casting, I got this job as a skateboarder in this movie. And so now I get back and I've got those heat on me.
Yeah.
Which I don't even know what that means. Just like, oh, they're talking about you. So I got a manager. My agent moved to ICM. So now I'm at ICM, which is too big for me. I get home and they go, hey, this guy offered you that part, the lead in that show. And I was like, wait, my own show? I said, oh my God, this is like a crazy. And they go, okay. So they have a big meeting in ICM. I think Gervitz is there. And they go, here's why we're going to turn that down. You've got too much heat on you. That's a new network. We want you at NBC. They're doing Cosby Show. They're doing all that. And we're going to have a meeting with Brandon Tartar Sauce or whatever his name is. And you're going
Tartar Sauce.
You're going to get a job there.
Yeah.
He's heard about you. He's excited. He saw you do stand up. I go, oh, I don't know. Wouldn't it be better to the one I have that's 1,000% an offer? No. And maybe like 20 grand a week, whatever, some magnanimous number. So I said, oh, so we're all agreed, all 12 agents, I don't do this. Okay. So then I meet Tartikoff. They have me read something, right? So I'm a free agent.
Yeah.
The fucking casting director goes, oh, you're about to go in. I think we're doing these sides now. I should never have taken them. I took them. I go, okay. I had been coached on a little scene he wanted me to read. Now I walk in and do the Police Academy read again. Blah, 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 read it. I leave. Gervitz goes, all the people that just got a development deal at NBC take one step forward. Not so fast, Spade. I go, what do you mean? He goes, you were too green. They saw you read. You're not ready. But they like you and they're going to keep an eye on you. And I go, so now what? He goes, now we hit the pavement, start auditioning. So I auditioned for 30 pilots that year and got none. Not even one callback. I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
And then he goes, you know what? Fuck ICM. Let's leave them. Let's go to, there's a smaller agency, Abrams, which is medium, right? They're good. This guy loves you. And I was spinning out. I could not believe what was going on. I'm like, lost everything, lost my heat. They all think I'm bad. And I got into classes to act. And then I was with this agency. And I swear to you, about 3 years ago, we're at dinner and Gervitz goes, and then ICM fucked him over and dropped him. And I go, no. I left ICM, remember? And he goes, oh, is that what I told you? Oh. And I go, no. What do you mean? Did they drop me? He goes, oh, yeah. I go, they dropped me. They're the ones that fucked me over. And he goes, I know. I couldn't tell you that, though, because it's just a tough biz. They said, we don't need him anymore. It didn't click. And I was like, Jesus. I said, he goes, you wouldn't have been able to handle that. I said, I would not have. There's no way. I couldn't handle that. Just mentally, like, the rejection was so piled on by that point, I couldn't deal with it. So then I went and scraped my way over to, SNL or whatever.
Well, I mentioned this the last time you were on. I was present when you auditioned. I went with, and this was not common, but
I don't remember this actually.
Yeah, I went with, it was not common, but Lorne, there was a showcase.
Yeah.
And
I can never say who was there. I can't remember.
Yeah, Lorne, I remembered, I didn't go to a lot of these, but Lorne wanted me there for I was a writer at SNL.
Sure.
Young whippersnapper, and I hungry. I go with Lorne and Schneider, I think was the same night.
Yep.
And the other guy was
Tom Kenny,
the voice of. This is before he was the voice of
SpongeBob
and Mr. Show.
And so, and watched you guys, and I remembered you were doing okay, and then at the end, you did your Michael J. Fox impression. And get killed. And I remembered Lorne, us driving away, and Lorne being like, I liked the Michael J. Fox guy, and then he liked Schneider, and so he brought you two in at the same time. And then I remembered getting to know you really when it was those Tuesday nights when we would stay up all night and write, and you and Chris Rock and Schneider would be kind of wandering around to see who had what ideas.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? And you'd come in, you'd go like, "Hey fellas, anybody got any? Hey buddy, got any ideas?" And
fucking help me out, man.
But it's funny because I know your special, your stand-up special is Dandelion, and you have an explanation for why it's Dandelion, which is a little bit about your character. Fragile on the inside. But I always found you. My read on you was always, this is a guy with, you always had that kind of tough, not tough, but I would say sarcastic, dismissive, super sharp. Shell. But I could always tell you were a very sweet guy underneath.
I would say thank you, Eddie. I kind of agree that it was so tough there.
Scary.
And it was tough. It's the same reason I was sarcastic in high school. Like, I wasn't as scared of getting beat up at SNL, but in high school and grade school, I was in some bad places that I didn't like. And so it was sort of my thing, being a bit of a pipsqueak. So getting to SNL was the same thing. I'm just in over my head clearly and just trying to take it all in and going to doors going, I don't know what to do like here, and like everyone, it just takes so long to seep in and then figure out how to write on that legal pad and all that shit. And
that high-tech legal pad stuff.
It's a pad and a pen, and you just go, and then the door closes, and I go do what? I write a sketch, Toonces. I don't know. I don't write my own sketch. Do I write theirs? Who's the host? Do I get to meet a celebrity? But
the thing, I'm sure you guys have covered this on your podcast, but the thing that about SNL that no one understands is how, and this is true of a lot of show business, how little supervision there is.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to SNL and you think someone's going to tell you, okay, here's how it works. No one tells you anything.
Yeah. They're almost mad you're there.
Yeah. Oh, they are mad you're there.
Mad, yeah.
Lauren's standard line when you'd encounter him in the hall was still with the show. Still with the show. And you'd think, I think I am.
I told Lauren when we talked to him on the show, because, it's a little easier to talk to Lauren now when all the stress is gone. He's fun to talk to. And he was like, because every year, he would talk to the managers or whatever and go, I don't know. So can you just say he's coming back so he can keep his apartment? We're not there yet. So I would, for 6 years,
Lauren was the one that stole your car, by the way.
Was it?
Oh, it's a Honda Accord. I love those.
Me.
Someone give me a ruler. I'll jimmy it open.
Take that, prick.
I know how to hotwire it. I learned it in Toronto at university.
Things just got worse for you. So
I love that was revealed later on too. Miss your Honda, Lauren.
You hold me back.
I thought Gervitz told you.
I put the drop on you at ICM. Yeah. So anyway, I says.
I forgot you were an old sailor.
I says. Remember that Farley bit? I says to him. I says right to his face. I says. And I'm like, I go afterwards at read through. I go, you're not really going to do this on Update.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I go, is that enough to kill with 3 words? No. Watch. And I did, and he did. But anyway, I tell Lauren every year he doesn't bring me back, and every year I have to get ready. I have to drag my mattress down. I have to sell it. I fucking get out of my apartment. Then about a month later, can't get a hold of him. He's in Amagansett. No phones. I mean, it's always the funniest. I can't get a hold of him. Then he finally goes, he says yes. So I go back, get an apartment, I'm stressed out of my fucking gourd. And then when we had him on the show, he goes, you were never in any danger of getting fired. I go, Lauren, look at me. There was some danger because maybe in your head, because it did work out, but it took a while. You were there. It took a while for me to get any, you get a few snarky lines here and there, but I was not that valuable. I remember one time Schmeigel said, Schmeigel
is from Lord of the Rings, and he's the lowliest creature.
Yes.
And then there's Robert Smigel,
Yes.
who's also in.
And so
Lord of the
Smyg
Rings.
says, because Schneider was acting up or something, and Rob and I have talked about this forever, but we were all handling it differently. And he goes, Schneider's tough, but he is valuable, worth having around. And I was like, I want to be valuable. That's what hit me. I was like, oh, you want someone to say in a position like Schmeigel was, like, we need you around, because he can go to Lauren, Rob, go, yeah, he's worth it. Because Rob is a funny writer,
Yeah.
and he had a kind of a gruff, abrasive personality back then, if that's fair. But I was the nice guy finishing last guy, and Rob was like, hey, I'm going to get in there, but it was working,
Stuff gets rewritten over time, and everybody.
Yeah.
And there's how you experience it, and this
Sure.
is actually kind of a recurring theme on the podcast that fascinates me. So I revisit it a lot, which is I talk to these very famous people who've had incredible success, like yourself, and then their take on it is harrowing. I felt like I wasn't going to make it. It was scary. It was touch and go. I squeaked by, and then in the end, things kind of worked out. But that is not how anybody else sees it. They just see you as being someone who is like, okay, big star on SNL, and then in movies, and then many TV sitcom. You're just like a staple.
Yeah.
But that is not how it feels to you.
I think it in fairness, I'm pretty objective about it. I mean, most of things I say are lies, but when I look back, it was it was hard for me to get a foothold. I mean, obviously Sandler caught fire pretty quick, and he's got so many moves, all these characters, and Spoon Man, everything was happening so fast. I was like, holy shit, he really came in loaded. And like Dana obviously is so good on the show, and Farley right from the get-go. So I just didn't have that. I was sort of just a comedian that could write some funny stuff, but took a while. By the end, I do like I'm lumped in with Farley, Sandler, Rock. I mean, that's just kind of how it is.
Yeah.
And I love it. So when I was just on a show, Rich Eisen this morning, I mentioned you because I was saying that chunk when I got there of talent around, which made me better, was running with people better than you. And I said Conan and Smigel, and I think Greg Daniels, and and all these writers, and Downey, and I could go on, Frank, and then you got Neil and all the cast, and Mike Myers, and then our new guys coming in with me and Adam and Chris Rock and Meadows and shit. So that was just a big chunk of people that you could look to anyone and go, oh, I can learn something from this guy. I can learn how to write, or I can learn how to perform, or look at the table read. It took a while to seep in, and then I got better at it. But man, I could have gotten, if I left in a year, I told Gervitz I want to leave once. He goes, then what? I mean, where do you go? You left SNL and it didn't work. Now that's a hard place to be in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And so he said, just stick. Even when I wanted to quit to do movies, he's like, you're getting movies only because you're on SNL. Do you understand? Yeah. I go, well, I don't have any time to do them. Maybe one in the summer. He's like, but if you leave, it's hard to explain, but it's true.
Yeah. SurveyMonkey can help you uncover what the people you care about think. Whether you're launching a new product or app, or in charge of creating great customer experiences, success comes from caring enough to ask your audience the right questions. Questions like, is SurveyMonkey a good name for a company? I'm sorry, had to get one in there. SurveyMonkey is way more powerful than you might realize. Writing good survey questions is very hard. You ask the wrong thing, you end up with unhelpful answers. Survey Monkey is like having access to a survey scientist on demand. I'm sure they're not called survey scientists, but whatever, it doesn't matter. It uses AI-powered technology to pick the best questions in the best formats to get your insights that you can trust. And after you send your survey, Survey Monkey doesn't just show you the responses, it uses powerful AI to dig in deep, find patterns, and spot trends. Whether you're a business owner trying to understand what your customers want, a marketing manager collecting feedback on a campaign idea, or a part of an HR team working to build a happier workplace, or someone trying to find a good name for your company, you can get real insights with Survey Monkey. Physician, heal thyself. Visit surveymonkey.com/results. Sometimes I think about taking a trip to Crete.
Oh, that's nice.
Never been there. And I think if I do it, I might Airbnb my place.
Yeah.
Now, Blay, you Airbnb, is that right?
Yeah. I want to put my place on Airbnb, and I want to make it really attractive for people to stay there. So what are some things that I can get and put in my place to make it more attractive?
I once stayed at an Airbnb in Palm Springs, and they had like a cool little mini bar.
Ooh.
I went to an Airbnb once, and they had a nice bottle of wine waiting for us.
Oh,
with
okay.
some cheese. It was really nice.
All right.
Just think about what you would like if you visited a place.
Okay.
And then make sure that...
Then I'll put like dinosaur eggs everywhere
Well,
and like video games everywhere.
Will say, now look.
Yeah, people don't want to be tripping over lightsabers on the floor while they're trying to get to the bathroom.
There's a glass case for the lightsabers.
Just don't be that specific.
Okay, that sounds good.
Try and make the place, think about everybody.
Yes. Okay.
And how could everyone enjoy things that most people enjoy?
Okay, great.
Think about it. If you host while you're traveling, which I'm thinking of doing, it's a great way to offset some of the costs of your own trip.
Yeah.
So if you got a big year of travel ahead of you, hosting is a pretty cool and unique way to make some money back. 2025 is the year to be financially savvy, so don't leave money on the table when you travel. Your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.com/host. I'm curious because when I remember I was at your audition, and I also clearly remember, it's burned into my brain, going into Lorne's outer office, which is one floor above 8H, his little office that looks out over the studio. And there was
watches the cows graze on
really,
the fucking rehearsal.
It's that's like the office that he moves to later in the week. That's not the office high up in the tower. And so when everything shifts to the stage for the second half of the week, Lorne's there. And I remembered there would always be people waiting outside to meet with Lorne, and Lorne would keep them forever. And I have a very clear memory of this kind of stout, boyish-looking, tousle-haired guy sitting out on this couch waiting to talk to Lorne for like more than a day. And I went up and chatted with him because he was Odenkirk's friend, and it was Chris Farley.
Oh.
And he was sitting there, and he was super eager, and he was laughing real hard. And so I took him on a tour of the stage, and was doing that shtick I used to do where I would, if someone was already hanging a lamp, I'd be like, and hang that lamp.
Yeah.
And you over there, Joe. I was saying all their names wrong. And if the guy was on a crane, use the crane. That's the way. Yeah. And Farley was following me around giggling.
He would laugh his ass off.
And I just said, I love this. He had the energy of a puppy when you first go get the puppy. Just so much fun. And then you guys found, was it the two of you that realized we have this thing, or did someone else see it and go, wait a minute, you've got this energy of Spade and you've got this energy of Farley. It's peanut butter and jelly. Let's put them together.
Yeah, it was either Lorne or the Turners, because
that would be Bonnie and Terry Turner. Great writing team. Yeah.
Writer, I forgot to say those two. But, Lorne's like, maybe something about how they are at the office. I think that's how it all started. Like, I make fun of Chris, he laughs, tells me to make fun of him again, he laughs. Just, we walk around, we go to Musso and Frank's or whatever. Not Musso and Frank's, Wally and Joseph's?
Yeah, in New York.
Yeah, and Huxley's and all the places that have been condemned now. But
in fairness, they were condemned then. You just
we
still
just
went
ate
to
there
them.
still.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then that got the Billy the Third got written up. That one with the Turners wrote that first draft, and then I think turned it over to Fred Wolf, turned into Tommy Boy. But that was also because Billy was Billy Madison. that summer. That's
But
so
you know,
funny.
I'm curious about something. Tommy Boy comes out and not thought of as a success initially, but then very quickly afterwards, you find out that it's huge. Is that correct?
I think it opened number one, but not crazy through the roof.
Right.
And then after time, it was looked upon more fondly over time. But
I
then
mean,
it went to video.
but
and
like the video
blew up.
sales were insane.
I think it went to 100 million. Yeah, they said the Paramount goes, this video. They ordered Black Sheep after Tommy Boy for the following summer. They're like, start now. We got to do another one. Maybe before it came out, because we shot it the next summer. So if I could still be doing those, that was the funnest, you know.
And did you, I leave SNL, go to The Simpsons, I come back, and Chris would, you just signed that? That's great.
Just wrote
That's,
Simpsons.
It's worth less.
I'm just trying to remember how I know you. The more you tell me are more clues.
Worthless.
I come back to do the late night show, and you guys were also generous and nice. I mean, I'm the new late night host. I'm down on 6, and I know all you guys, and so you're all coming down doing bits. Chris would come down and do bits, which I look at now, and they fill me with joy. They also make me sad because he's
the one where he runs
Not
in
here.
on Letterman. I see a lot on Instagram.
Yeah.
Runs down and grabs a guy and he throws him in the garbage can.
Yes, yeah.
Unreal. That was one of the best pieces of television I've
Yeah,
ever seen. It's
fantastic.
so funny. Probably not super thought out. He's wearing a thick suit. The funny thing is he would wear like a t-shirt, then a shirt, then a button down, then a tie, then an overcoat, then a cashmere. I'm like, God damn, dude, how do you move? Because my neck is fucked up. I can't wear more than 2 layers. He has layers. He goes, I like to feel tight and hugged. I'm like, God damn. And then he's running and he's sweating. He's like, why am I sweating? I'm like, you have 14 layers on.
That's the other thing, funny thing too, is that he got tagged as the funny fat guy, but he was incredibly athletic and strong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he was.
I didn't.
Agile.
Yeah, and he could do all these amazing things with his body. And I think in the same way, his hero Belushi, because he was, paired with like a beanpole Aykroyd at the time or whatever.
Sure.
You could think of him as the heavy guy of the duo. But I remembered him being just such an incredibly physical comedian.
Yeah, I think it's an extra move that is surprising to people, but it's one more funny thing about him. Like he can do those pirouettes. We did that skating sketch, remember?
Yep.
Bump up the jam, they will. And it was like Phil was Vern Lindquist or something, and I was Scott Hamilton, and it was Nancy Kerrigan's show. And Farley and Nancy Kerrigan, and he kept falling. Oh, that's going to hurt him. He kept falling over and over, and he got down to like 0 points. But he was a really good skater, too. And so it was funny that he could skate well, and you go, oh, that's a surprising move. And then when he does any sort of like ballet, he can do these weird moves. All adds to the funny.
Well, he is missed. It must be, I mean, I know that you had an incredibly close relationship with him. I miss him and knew him as like a friend and a guy that I would do things with from time to time, but clearly it was I hope time has made that, I'm sure, an easier thing to handle.
Yeah, I mean, we were all pretty close with him, and so any of that stuff. I remember one time he goes, I don't want to be known as the funny fat guy. I go, would you take the fat funny guy? And he said, it's a little better.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing you at there's another sad, Norm's memorial.
Yeah.
Where something did happen funny. Not the dying part, but there was other stuff that was going on. Right. By the way, it was like brought to you by Netflix. It was something because I remember going at the talk and there was like a crane shot or something. I'm starting to cry and they're like, push in. I'm like, is there camera dolly coming at me?
What was that? I spoke. I don't know if I was emceeing it or you can't MC a funeral.
You know what's funny?
But
it always just turns into that. Let's be honest.
No. It's true.
It turns into
I think I spoke,
doing well.
I spoke about him up front and talked about him and then brought other people up on stage.
The 2 things that I remember are Lori Jo was sort of running it or whatever. And I said, Lori Jo, she goes, can you speak? And I said, I'm not good at that. I said, I would do it if I just do it right away up front because I don't want to sit there and rot while thinking of, oh, no. So she goes, okay. And then it was like, Downey went up, standing ovation. I'm going to bring Conan up, standing ovation. Lori Jo goes, then I think you bring her up. She gets a standing ovation. And then we finally get back to you and you finally go, all right, we're going to bring up some friends, David Spade. And so I walked up and I go, well, I guess the standing ovation portion is over because I was the first.
Which killed, by the way.
Yeah, that was a good one. I should have gotten off. Honestly, that was the fucking funniest thing that happened. And then, but when I walked up, I fell on those fucking stairs.
Oh.
And you caught me, I think, and you grabbed me, and I think you fell too.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
We're in this goofy, I don't know what venue we were at, where we were, but you went up. You tripped on the stairs.
Yeah.
I think I did catch you. You don't weigh a lot, so that was easy. It was like catching a packing peanut.
94.
90, I don't know. That's generous, 94.
Kilos.
You fell and you started to float and I grabbed you. You're like a balloon.
Yeah.
But then I thought, what's wrong with Spade? Why did he trip on that step? So then cut to me.
What's wrong with Spade?
What's wrong with fucking Spade? He can't walk
This guy's falling
upstairs.
apart.
So then you do your thing. I go up to then take the stage again to bring up the next person. My foot catches on something on the step and I trip and I turned it into like a roll and stood up again and people thought, oh, Conan's doing like physical shtick.
Yeah.
But then I walked off stage and I said to the guy, that step, Spade tripped on it and I tripped on it. And the guy went, yeah, that happens a lot. We should fix that someday.
Yeah, he knew.
He said we should fix that someday. And I'm like, yeah, what happens when Dame Judi Dench is killed? I mean, the two of us can take a fall. You know, what happens when it's the...
It was pretty funny to me that he kept going. Like, it felt like most people trip. And I'm like, well, this isn't an anomaly. Like, with me, I look over and thought he'd be like this. He was like this. Like, yep, another one bites
Another
the dust.
one, yeah. And then he said, like, I went into it with him a little bit. I went, what do you mean? And he was like, well, you know, it's higher than the other steps. Like, each other step is exactly
so
4
you're
inches.
used to like this,
yeah, and then there's one that's
go,
like 5, and he said, and it's also uneven, and it's coming off. You're like, fix it!
And there's also an earthquake.
That's not my union, you know, so.
I mean, I don't know how many of these funerals you host, but you did a good job.
I have, you know, it's weird. I became the funeral guy because I've done a bunch.
Oh, boy.
And I really fret over them and worry about them because it's not just a regular thing. You're really trying to think of who was this person, and now they're starting to rack up where it's like, I've done a bunch now.
Too many. It's hard. You're good at that stuff.
You're doing the popes?
I'm doing the popes. Yeah. Yeah, I'm being flown in.
Is the Pope's going to be in L.A.? Looks like, can you get me in? This is my friends always want to get tickets to shit. Can you get me in?
I just have to tell this one story, which is, I have to tell this because it's a Lorne story. But after 9/11, you know, there was like months and months and months of cleanup, and it was an area that you couldn't go to, but sometimes people went down there, and Mike Sweeney ran into Lorne somewhere, and Lorne knew that Mike Sweeney was my head writer, and they're chatting for a little bit, and then Lorne, to be magnanimous, said, have you been down to Ground Zero? And Mike Sweeney went, no, I haven't. He went, would you like to? And suddenly, Sweeney pictured a velvet rope.
Yeah.
And you are a Sweeney, but look, yes, right this way. Oh. And there's the big pit. And
We called ahead, yeah.
I'll have the veal, and I'd like to be near that part of...
What I kept saying, which was never working, was I might head down to Ground Zilch. And everyone's like,
Didn't
where?
catch
And I
on,
go,
huh?
Ground Zip. And they're like, are you talking about the 9/11 where people died? I go, no, I'm talking about something else. But that was tragic. But yeah, I went down there like a week later because there's a 9/11 benefit where we all flew in and there was a concert and all that stuff. I think Adam went on, everyone went on. And they took us down there. It was one of the perks.
Oh my God.
It is.
It was a weird time.
It was so weird.
It was such a crazy time
It was
to
like
be in.
a humble brag. I went down.
Yeah.
You get close?
Yeah.
I got a little souvenir. But 9/11, yeah, I know you think it's funny. It's not funny. But my friends, it's noted that you laugh. My friends go,
Sona,
Can I
Sona,
get...
what the fuck is wrong
God,
with you?
it's so funny.
You're a monster.
I'm crying.
Monster.
We're doing a thing about how it's not funny.
Yes.
And then you start laughing.
That's awful.
No, it
It's
is awful.
I'm
You're
still...
young and stuff, but we lived there. And
He
we went
said
through
ground zilch.
Yeah, that was funny
So
to me.
let's not forget. He said ground
it. No,
zilch.
Yeah,
let's
never forget.
not forget.
Never
it means
forget.
9/11.
Yeah.
Not
Never
that
forget.
David Spade called it ground zilch.
Never forget.
Let's never forget.
Never forget.
The terrible day? No, that Spade called it ground zilch. You're a monster.
Come on.
Let me ask you about Norm. You did stuff you were on the road with Norm, and a lot of us, when Norm passed, were shocked. And I kept thinking, oh, I must have been the only person that didn't know.
Oh, but
And people all thought, well, Conan, you knew Norm, and he does his classic appearances on your show, and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, I know. We were desperately trying to get him back. I desperately wanted Norm on my last episode. We were trying to get him and not getting an answer back. And I thought, well, he just doesn't want to come. And I was bummed about it, but thought he's probably got other things to do. That's too bad. Get his all-time great guest. And then he dies. And I just thought, well, I didn't know, but everyone else must have known. And then Jim Downey called me and said, you know, more or less, Conan, fuck you for not telling me about Norm. And I said, Jim, I didn't know. And Jim Downey said,
I would think Downey might know.
no, Jim didn't know.
Yeah.
Did you know?
I did not know.
And you were touring with him.
Well, I'd done some gigs with him, and then before COVID, me, him, and Dennis Miller was our last one together. But great, super fun, obviously. And then, but you know, we would talk, and it was more about coming over for dinner. Same thing, where he didn't tell me because he'd go, no, I can't. And then I go, well, it's just me and you sitting 10 feet apart, but something to do. And he's like, yeah, okay, for sure. And then that night I go, where are you? He goes, David, it's COVID. And I go, what is it? So you're not coming? We're not supposed to leave the house. I go, I know, but we've talked about this. Like, you're allowed to go places. And then, oh, yeah. Okay, well, let's do it next week then. And then he just did that routine. And then until it was too late, but I didn't know. So I don't know who knew. I think Gervitz knew, and maybe
I think Gervitz and Lori Joe.
Yeah.
I think that's about it.
Yeah.
And I think, I think two things about it, and they're diametrically opposed. One is I wish I had known, because I would have told him what he meant to me.
Yeah.
And there's that feeling why I wish I had known. And so initially I was mad that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And then there's the other side, which is great respect for him wanting to keep it private.
Yeah.
And him not wanting people to treat him any differently because he was sick.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have both feelings at the same time.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, it was just so overwhelmingly horrible that I just like. Then later it took me how it affected me, where like I was mad at him.
Yeah.
But I'm really, by the way, just not to lighten up the feel here, because I know it's getting sad. But when we were at the memorial or whatever that special was
For Norm.
yeah, where we were watching the special. Remember that we watched his special. That's why the cameras are there.
That's a separate. That was a thing.
Wasn't that after the memorial?
Those
We
are
went
you're
into the
talking
room.
about. You're talking about two different things. No, there was a kind of a
Okay.
eulogy
Yeah.
for Norm that I sort of spoke at
Again.
and brought people up, and then there was a separate thing where Norm had made.
A Netflix
He was
special.
planning to do it was fascinating. He was planning to do an hour, and he had an hour together, or 50 minutes, and he really had it in his mind, and he knew, I believe, and Lori Joe would know better, I don't want to speak for her, but I think he was planning to go into the hospital for what he thought was going to be
something routine maintenance. or something,
routine maintenance treatment for his condition.
Yeah.
So what he did was he said, before I go into the hospital, I want to record. So he recorded using similar
Most
technology.
amateur way, like
Literally just a camera there.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing here
In
is
the
far more
kitchen or
sophisticated. And he did, from memory, his whole
yeah.
50 minutes. And it was really
Yeah, it
funny
was
and
funny.
great. he goes into the hospital and he dies. And then Laurie Joe found the tape.
Yeah.
And they thought, to round out the special or to give it something else, let's have you, me, Sandler, Chappelle, Letterman. Who else was there? It was
One more. Molly?
Molly was there, Molly Shannon.
Maybe
a bunch
that was
of
it.
Might have been it. It was, and had us watch it. We hadn't seen it. Watch
That
it in
part
real
was a little
time.
weird because
And then
cameras
talk.
filming us.
Yes, and then talk about it right afterwards. And that part, I mean, I think it came out really well, but I remembered it was very powerful to be in a room and have everyone else leave and shut the doors and then suddenly Norm was there.
Yeah.
And he's being hilarious and we're laughing and loving it. And then it's over. And then I think we just started talking
Got a little
about
teary-eyed at parts though, because you're just watching him going, and then you start drifting your mind going, okay, it's over. This is right before.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talk, and then it's funny because we're all talking, and then also we're like, just a weird scene.
Yeah.
Will
But-
that ever be released, do you think?
It was.
I think
and
it
it
was
won an
released.
Emmy.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it was
Do you have
released. I
Netflix?
think it's on Netflix.
Sorry.
Oh, your mistakes get
Oh.
cut out. That's nice. Yes, it won a
Can you edit out me laughing at 9/11?
No,
No? Okay.
Because we never forget.
Oh,
Nothing special.
we never forget who thinks
called
it's
Nothing
funny
Special.
still.
yeah.
all
It's
right.
called Nothing Special, and it won an Emmy.
Was it
But
called
the-
Nothing
I-
Special?
What's that?
Was it called Nothing Special?
Yeah.
Norm
Is this the
Macdonald.
thing that
Nothing.
you guys are watching is aired?
Yes.
Yeah.
The
whole
his material.
No. Just so we're
Has
clear.
he been listening?
This is his first podcast.
Is he new?
He won a contest.
Is he a contest he gets to
he's a
sit in?
contest winner. He got to fly in, and we didn't. He told him not to talk. And
He
then
loves
he's
that
not
I
even-
make fun
that
of him.
microphone isn't even real.
Yeah.
No, it was the special was. You see, it plays Norm's special, and then you see our reaction to it.
Okay.
So that's the whole. So you see both.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Don't be
Gotcha.
sorry.
Yeah.
No, be sorry.
And that's humanity. You should feel terrible
Yeah.
about your
Oh,
crimes.
okay. We should edit that
Um,
out.
You know,
That-
at
we'll edit all
the
that out.
memorial, the first one with the dolly shots, whatever that one was,
Yeah.
that you were falling everywhere.
Mhm. Right, when people die, I'm mourning them, I tend to do a tumbling act.
Yeah, you
for
were
a little
just
bit, just
getting,
to sort of loosen
you
up
were
the crowd.
Also, by the way, I think it was like 4 inches, and the next one was like 9 inches because everybody, their toe hit that fucking thing. I'm still mad about that step. But I left in between that, and then there was like a part 2, or maybe it was I'm confusing them, but I had to come back.
Yeah.
So I had or I just left during it because it was getting too sad. So I ran out. This is when I went to McDonald's, and in the Amazon special, I talk about that exact
Yep.
thing. I went to McDonald's in my suit and was in line, and the crazy guy comes out of the bushes and takes off shirts, starts smacking
Yes.
the guy ordering.
Yep.
So I go, let's back up, but let's park. I want to watch. So I went in, and that whole thing takes place from the Norm Macdonald thing.
Okay, so that happened from the Norm
Yeah.
thing.
That's a real story, and it was really happening, and I did get scared when he came in because I thought we were going to get in a fight.
You, first of all, I want it noted
Yeah.
that someone you were very close to, a colleague and a cherished person, passed away, and you were present at the memorial, but walked out halfway through to go to McDonald's.
But also,
But then something funny happened, which you could use in your special
no,
Dandelion.
because
So
I had
guess
already
we got
done
that
my
all set.
set.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did your set, so then you're out of there. I scored, and now it's time for some chicken McNuggets.
Oh,
Maybe
I'll get some-
yeah.
Yeah.
I try to sound real, and it's too many comics there, and I'm trying to sound like say nice stories about Norm, and everyone's just looking for punchline. It's such a weird scene because it's all comedians, and you're just like, I'm just going to leave here, and everyone's going to be like, who did well? You know what I mean? It's like, that's everything.
It is okay. Let's talk about this. This is a real phenomenon.
Yes.
Where a funny person dies.
Yes.
Who are they? Who are their friends? Other funny,
Yes.
professionally funny people. We get together when people pass on, when they die, and there's a gathering. People speak, but you've got a room full of people
Yeah.
who are competitive about getting up and being
Sure.
funny, and it's a strange
It's very weird.
phenomenon. These things are weird because you think, nope, it's not about that, but there's some part of you that wants to do well.
And there's some nerves and some awkwardness. And I think it started, I went to Gary Shandling's
Yep.
funeral, and then everyone was like, Bill Maher did great.
Yeah.
I kept
my
going.
God.
And then everyone's
But
saying,
can I say something? Maher used props, and he had a lot of balloon. He was doing balloon work.
Oh,
he was? I don't remember that.
No, I
he had some
remember it
good
clearly,
stuff.
and he had a whole trunk like Gallagher or Gallagher 2.
That was being filmed too.
Yeah,
I think Apatow filmed
yeah, they had
it.
to, yeah.
Has
Didn't
that
he
been
film it
released?
for something, for a documentary?
Oh, I thought Gallagher was. Sorry,
What's
I got
that?
confused. I thought
So
Gallagher.
you guys are here to help. Is
Yeah,
that
I
the
know.
idea?
We're
She's throwing confusion.
I am.
You should do Gallagher 3. Do you know what Gallagher 2 is?
Gallagher 2 is his brother.
Yeah, and he does Gallagher's act.
Right, but I think have they both passed on to their reward? I think Gallagher won.
Well, according to this podcast, I'm sure they did, because everyone's dying so far that we talk
I know.
about.
You guys are talking a
well,
lot
I'm
of.
sorry,
It's
but
a lot of death.
I'm sorry, we're jinxing everyone.
I
we
know.
are two survivors
Yeah.
here. You know,
We're
Sona,
like
you
the
and
two
Gorley
people
are
that-
young people. You don't know what it's like. We have been through the shit. We're like guys that were in war together.
We're like in the Titanic.
No.
We're
Yeah.
just talking about
We're
it.
on SNL together. I don't
Yeah,
think that's.
I know.
It's a
Or
lot
quite
like
as
the
bad.
Titanic
Is it?
SNL.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
SNL. God, we talk about SNL forever. It's so embarrassing, but it is something to talk about. Right?
He said doodling. Hey, if you're bored, just let me
No, I'm
know. I
not.
think this is, I actually
No,
love
I
talking
like
about
it.
this stuff and it's meaningful to me.
No,
and for you
because
to,
we were both there.
if you want to take a break and go to McDonald's, go ahead and I'll just keep talking. You can get yourself the McGriddle, whatever it's called.
No, I almost got beat up. That's a big story. You're not even concerned.
Well, let's hear about it.
Oh, I can't.
It's on the
So-
special, Dandelion.
Does this come off?
Yeah, it's on the. And hey, you know what's? I very
Yeah.
much enjoyed your special.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my God,
watched it
that's
last night.
nice.
What are you talking about? When I talk to a friend and they have a special, and
It's
you know
nice.
what? You know what I liked is that you've got very funny material. You're obviously a very funny comedian, but when you notice something that's just happening in the real moment and fuck around about it,
I know.
you're one of my favorites. And one of the first things he does in the special is you're talking, and I didn't even notice it, but I realized you're kind of doing that thing when there's a long cord,
Mike Cord.
your mic cord, and you're trying to run, and you went, by the way. The cordless mic was invented in 1996, guys, and it's hilarious, and it's not even part of the set that you
Yeah.
had planned. And then you go on this whole riff about Jeff Bezos
Yeah.
and
Give me a shitty mic for my
Giving-
fucking special.
yeah, and but you I noticed this at the SNL 50th, and I know I'm bringing SNL back into it, but
Yeah.
for a reason. You did a sketch in that, and at one point you're not even in the sketch anymore, and you ad-libbed a line that was one of my favorite lines of the night.
That's right. You told me that was very
That-
nice.
and I mean, it absolutely was hilarious, which is a sketch is going on. You take us through it.
I'm doing a sketch with Mulaney
Mm-hmm.
and Pete Davidson, Broadway, New York musicals.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a long sketch.
And it's about the evolution of New York throughout the different eras, like starting out in 75 when SNL starts out, and then a bunch of people saw this.
And me
It was
and Peter
very-
are like two young kids,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's telling us the story of how it started. And,
yeah.
and so as we go through it, I don't know if they predicted this, but of course I got bored during it. So they write me in the middle of it. I walk in and I sit in the audience.
You're in the audience suddenly.
So it's
Which, all the way, people don't really know. You like suddenly, you're not there, but you don't quite clock that. And then all of a
Right.
sudden they just,
And then
they wonder,
Mulaney
where's
goes-
David?
He goes, listen, Jimmy. And then he goes, wait, Pete. He just breaks character. Where's Spade? And he goes, oh, I think he went back to the audience
Uh-huh.
and sat in the audience. And then they look around and then they have a camera at me and I'm sitting in the audience and they cut to me and I go, oh yeah, no, I got a feel for it. So
and so I asked around, and I think that was you. Was that your line?
well, they gave me a line and it was something like that. And then
Yeah.
Wally goes, I'm not going to give you a cue card. You got it. And I go, yeah. And then when it came to me in rehearsal, I said that, which was basically something like the line. And then
Right, but you said it your way.
Yeah.
And you were so dismissive, and it was so thrown away. You're like, yeah, I got a feel for it. And I laughed very hard a bunch of times that night. That might have been my favorite moment.
Thank you. That was fun because we did rehearsal and it worked. And then Mulaney was like, just do it like that. Like, whatever. So it was perfect. It was fun to be at the 50th and it was fun to be in something because, we just go. And I thought Lovitz's line was funny too.
Oh my God, they
Didn't that?
Lovitz is at the American Girl store.
He's sitting so far away.
he's they have people sitting, and he's at the American Girl store. And what was his line?
And they go, because they have the all stars in the audience, but you can't fit everyone. And they go, where's John Lovitz? And then they pan to the real American Girl store. He's sitting with all these dolls around him. And they go, oh, John. He goes, I'm not I'm not mad. I just want to know why. I go, sorry, John, that you're all the way over across the street in the American Girl Story. I'm not mad. I just want to know why. Like, he doesn't get there's not enough seats. He's like,
We had a crazy night. I don't know if you're going to remember this. It wasn't that crazy, but we occasionally get dinner together.
yeah.
It'll be, and when I say we, it's you, it's Dana Carvey, it's myself. It's the same group. We always go to the exact same restaurant on La Cienega, Koi.
Love it.
And it's this thing we do, and we'll just sit around and talk. And I remember one night, it wasn't planned. It was a total accident. We're leaving the restaurant and we hear, hello!
Hello.
And it's John Lovitz.
What do we have here?
What do we have him? and he is always himself, and he's one of the funniest people you'll ever meet because he's always himself. And whatever he's doing, if he's standing with an attractive woman, he'll say, oh, and this is Jessica. And then he'll look at me in front of her and say, jealous. He's
always
a walking
John
cartoon
Lovitz,
character.
and he does play the John Lovitz. He does what you want to hear.
But we were with him and we're all talking to him. And then I can't believe this really happened, but we all walk outside the restaurant and Lovitz is standing there and he said, hold on, they're delivering a car for me. And they delivered like one of those trucks.
Oh, yeah.
Was delivering a car to him at the restaurant.
What?
I don't mean like an Uber. I mean he was taking possession of a fancy car and looked to me and was like, jealous?
Yeah, I was jealous.
Dude, as they were lowering a car.
Your Porsche, sir.
Yeah, and I thought, who the fuck says, yes, I'll take possession of my Bugatti. I'll be over at Koi, looking for old friends from Saturday Night Live.
Wait till you see me standing with them and then pull up.
When you see me standing there and you see them with their shitty cars, make sure you wait.
Oh, man.
And then back up and have the car delivered. And it was a happening. I loved that.
Yeah. We love it. This is always a crack up. He has tons of cars. I'm shocked. I like cars. He has way more. He pulls up, do you like it?
You like it?
He goes, how can I? Because he goes, you should get a Mustang. And he pulls up this new blown out Mustang. He goes, how can I get you in this car? He's trying to sell it. Yeah, he is always a crack up. Also, you did the Mark Twain. I saw you at the last Mark Twain that I was in, which was the Sandler one.
Yeah.
That was a really funny one. Was yours fun too?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I was more fun than I thought it was going to be. I really like showing up for other people.
Yeah.
Being talked about, of course.
Is it weird?
I was dreading, and then I loved it.
Yeah.
Just because everyone was so funny and
I
irreverent.
just saw the lineup out there on the poster that you signed for yourself or something, but it was on the wall.
Other people
and
signed it to me.
I don't know exactly what happened, but
No, I stood with a marker and I signed Letterman, Mulaney.
it's part of your deal. Sign here.
I signed everyone else's name on it to pretend.
I was with Nikki Glazer in Vegas, and she gallantly took we did our show.
Yep.
And she goes, I'm going to miss your set. I'm going straight to the airport. Went straight on the red eye to you. Got it together. I mean, that's a brutal.
She killed, and I was just in Vegas yesterday and ran, I think drove by 7 different signs.
Oh, for me and Nikki?
Yeah, for you and Nikki. And I adore her.
Yeah, I
adore her, and I adore you. I love the idea of you two being out there together, and that would be a show. I would love to see that show.
Yeah, you'd laugh. It's funny. And like what you're saying earlier, it's like when you do corporate shows, you probably do those Dana and I do a bunch of them, and he fucking kills. He's exactly what they want. I'm pretty much what they want, but he's exactly what they want. But whenever you do anything, actually any show when I'm on the road, this tour, if you say anything that they don't think is scripted, like that mic thing, or you say something about this, or you make fun of the guy over here with the lights, it always works 10 times better than whatever you're really supposed to say. Yeah. It's so funny that it always works that way. One time I was doing this corporate, and this is just a dumb example, but it was like 3 nights. One night was like Stevie Nicks, me, and then Journey, right? So I'm going backstage. They're like, and don't forget, tomorrow night, we got David Spade coming, but don't forget, tomorrow night, Journey. They would put over the loudspeaker. So after about 6 times before I go on, I go, hey guys, I don't want to hear one fucking more thing about Journey, okay? We're here tonight. I don't give a fat fuck about Journey and all their contest winners that are in that. It's not even all real Journey, and I'm ready to break it to you. But I said, we're here, and I'm here, and it's going to suck, and we're going to get through it. And then you get your precious Journey. And then that works better than the whole
Of course.
lot. So anything like that.
Anything else you've got.
And then I go, anyway, dogs are funny. And they're like, boo. Oh, I smell your act.
Go back to Journey.
Yeah.
You really got it with that Journey
Say
thing.
shit about anything else.
David, I've kept you here long enough. And I...
God, that did go fast, Conan. I have to say, we did a good job. It was nice and
Was it?
fun,
I
and
think
you
it was-
were great.
I think I did a good job.
You did a great job.
You were all over the map.
I think Sona and I did the
Yeah, I
best
think
work here.
me and Matt.
In your own
I
way,
think we
I think you
learned
guys
a lot.
killed it.
Yeah.
We learned about Building 7 over there. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Building 7.
So, to end on a positive note,
Pearl Harbor.
yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
You know,
He's
Sona doesn't know
back.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
David,
Yes.
on a serious note, I've known you, I don't know, I think it was 1989, something like that, 1990. I can't remember.
Mhm.
It was a long time. I've known you a really long time, and I'm always really happy to see you. And
Thank you. It's really
you
good to
are
see you.
a deeply funny
Thank you.
person and also a sweet gentleman. I've
Thank
always
you.
known you to be that.
That sweet rumor. Hopefully it's sticking around.
Yeah, we're getting it. We're getting the word out there. It's not trending well. People aren't buying it, but there's a lot of pushback on it. But David Spade Dandelion is available to stream on Prime Video. I watched it last night.
Very nice. of you.
It's
I
really
appreciate
funny, and
it. That's it.
you're a good man.
On the road, come see
And
me.
so-
I know your friend
You know what?
Adam.
You
Tell
know
your
what?
friend Adam I said hello. Actually, someone said there's a house over there by you guys. I don't even know where you live exactly, but
We keep it that way.
didn't you get?
Sam-
Didn't it get close to you?
Yeah.
You can
oh,
take this
God.
out
Oh,
if
no,
you
no,
want.
no. It's fine. The fire's got... Sandler and I live very close
Yeah.
to each other. I lived closer to the fire than Sandler.
But can you still live there? You cannot.
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Oh, great,
Yeah,
great,
yeah.
great.
We're God. You know,
Yeah.
I'm very lucky. We were very fortunate that our house was close, and
Yeah.
we had to move out of it for a couple of months, but it was just smoke damage.
Sorry to bring that up, but yeah, I'm glad yours is okay.
So you saw us getting out
Mhm.
with some good sentiment and some good feeling, and you brought up the fires.
Yeah. I said quickly, I was racking my brain, Chat GPT, what's the saddest thing that's happened recently?
The fires in Los Angeles.
and it goes, this show's over. I wouldn't bring it up. I go, no.
So wait, so ChatGPT knew
Yeah, even
that
they
it was a
knew, yeah.
mistake.
Oh no!
They know everything. They just
I
go,
would have ended on the journey bit.
Yeah.
That really killed.
Yeah. I thought you had timing. You're proving. Yeah.
All right, David.
yeah.
I hope I see you real soon.
Yeah. Give me about 100 yards ahead of you, and then you take off.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.